And welcome back to another edition of the Women of Wrestling podcast. We are officially 18.
Are we?
Yeah, this is the 18th edition of the podcast.
That went quickly.
Yeah, not bad for a show that sets out its stall as pretty much a niche show for a niche market. But I am, as usual, your host, Stu Allen, here alongside Lee Burton. And Lee, we are back today with one of our now patented dual guest shows. So coming up on the show, we're going to be talking to Roxie Cotton all about this coming weekend Pro Wrestling Sun show in New Jersey. And then we're going to be talking to one of the debutantes at Shimmer the following weekend, Christina Von Eerie.
Yeah, because there's so many shows that are going on at the moment, we're kind of having to do two at a time. But that's okay. That's all right. It means that you get, double your pleasure, double your fun.
That's the thing. We're in the middle of women's wrestling silly season, as we mentioned, with all these shows coming up. And this past weekend, Femme Fatale run their fifth show. You can go back and listen to her interview last week with Kat Power, where she talks about her career to date and talks about the show and working for Femme Fatale. And Kat had a big night on Saturday night. It was her last night in a wrestling ring.
That also means that the Women of Wrestling podcast she did with us last week was her last interview as an active wrestler.
Indeed so. She lost her combat Duru to Courtney Rush. And, if you haven't had a chance to listen to that show yet, go back and listen to it. I'm really immensely proud of it. It's one of the things that we're very proud of what we do here is that we give soapboxes and we give opportunities for people who, where else are you going to get audio like this?
Yeah, and that's the thing. Just because you may not know so much about them or know their names or they haven't done maybe so much as you would hope that somebody else may have done who you'd like a lot, doesn't mean that they haven't got stories. And sometimes their stories can be even more interesting because they've had to struggle and fight.
Yeah, no kidding. So as Kat disappears off into the sunset, there's still plenty of other stuff going on Femme Fatale, though. Main event of the show was Lufisto versus Ayaka Hamada for the Femme Fatale International title. Can't wait to see that one.
That's the thing. Apparently, Lufisto was saying before the show, and actually pretty much the whole day, that she was feeling sick and nervous and anxious because, Hamada's one person who she respects so much, and somebody who's got more experience than her, and somebody who she really looks up to. So she really wanted to go out there and make a good impression.
Yeah, it sounds like she did as well. The next show is going to be coming up in June 4th for Femme Fatale 6. And they announced that Madison Eagles was going to be on the show. And
there's also a tag team challenge that's been thrown down by the Canadian Ninjas to Cheerleader Melissa.
Cheerleader Melissa and a partner of her choosing, assuming, according to the Ninjas, she can find one.
Yes, because apparently they are saying that Melissa's quite unliked.
And
was that disliked? I don't know.
I don't know. I'm not sure. Could be either.
Doesn't matter.
Also, still a bit of backstage news as well. If you've ever wondered whatever happened to Tiana Ringer after she disappeared off your Shimmer DVDs, she was backstage visiting friends. She teaches dance in the area now as well.
That's pretty cool. It's good to know that she's still about and still not necessarily maybe involved in wrestling, but still interested in her friends who are still involved in wrestling.
Yeah. We want to take an opportunity as well just to mention that Femme Fatale doing something particularly altruistic with their next show. They're going to be giving $3 from every ticket price to the Heart and Strokes Foundation in Canada.
Yeah, something that Lufisto is quite sort of deeply involved with at the moment, considering her sort of health issues over the past year or so.
Yeah, absolutely. So that was Femme Fatale. The other big piece of news coming out since the last show we did was the news involving Daphne, which came down just this week, and that is that she has not had her contract renewed by TNA. I think a lot of people probably saw this coming, but the confirmation is finally out, and it's a pretty big story.
Yeah, it's not necessarily the fact that Daphne's contract hasn't been renewed, but possibly why it hasn't been renewed. Now, Daphne hasn't been on TV at all this year. On Impact, and she was featured very sporadically at the end of last year. She's been dealing with a few injuries. She's had concussions. It's been hard to try to sort of get over them and shake them off. And while she's not been wrestling, she's not been getting paid essentially, I suppose, because aren't a lot of the girls who work at TNA on sort of per appearance deals.
Yeah, we've heard various stories about working conditions in TNA, and it's going to be interesting because, Daphne's decided to launch a workers' comp claim against TNA.
Which is interesting.
That's the big story here, is not only the fact that she's gone, but the fact that she's actually going to test legally the position as far as TNA and the workers are concerned.
Yeah, and that status as independent contractors.
Yeah, well, she got hurt doing what she does, and she did a lot of stupid stuff for TNA and for the fans, and she's ended up where she's been pretty badly hurt. She's picked up a bunch of different concussions and injuries and so on, and she says that TNA did not assist with regards to paying for those injuries.
I'm assuming a lot of this workers' comp claim is just about maybe lost earnings through injuries, which they haven't not necessarily helped you out with, because you can't really help somebody out with a concussion. A concussion's a concussion, and you just got to wait to shake it off. But you can make sure that they don't go hungry while it happens, and they still have a roof over their heads. Because if it happened on your watch, it seems a bit shitty to just throw somebody by the wayside and say, "Oh, they're hurt. That's terrible." Who else have we got?
Yeah, it's kind of funny, actually, considering, because TNA always like to paint themselves as the good guys as far as this is concerned, and it'll be interesting to see where it goes in the courts. TNA.
This might be the first time this has been properly tested, if it actually gets to court.
Yeah.
And this could open a lot of doors for a lot of different wrestlers.
Yeah, absolutely. So what we're going to do is we're going to wish Daphne all the best as far as that's concerned. I hope that she gets what she needs, and that she could be a very important part in the history of wrestling when all things are said and done.
Yeah, Daphne's also, just on a positive note, she's going to be making a lot of different appearances at signings over the next few months or so. The We Want Daphne page on Facebook has all the details of that, and also Daphne's going to be appearing at Anarchy Championship Wrestling's Queen of Queens event in Live Oak, Texas on June the 26th. There
you go. She was a competitor in last year's Queen of Queens, in fact.
And a former American Joshi champion.
Yeah. So there you go. Those are probably your biggest stories of the week so far. But let's talk a little bit about the guests that we've got coming up on the show this evening. We've got, first of all, representing Pro Wrestling Sun this weekend, Roxie Cotton.
Yeah, Roxie's somebody who, on, I think it was the Christmas show, when we were talking to Alison Danger, I said that she was somebody who fascinated me. So I'm really glad that we got a chance to talk to her.
Yep, she's going to be in competition this weekend at the debut of Pro Wrestling Sun, Sunrise. She's going to be defending the World 1 Tag Team Championships alongside Sumi Sakai against two of her former partners, in fact, Annie Social and Marty Bell.
Yeah, that's one of the matches which is going to be taking place on the card. There are others. Alison Danger's taking on Madison Eagle, so that's Pro Wrestling Sun Champ versus Shimmer Champ, and the winner gets a title shot against the loser's title at some point in the future. So we might see at Shimmer Madison Eagles versus Alison Danger for the Shimmer Championship.
Who knows? Also at Shimmer we're going to see the debut of Christina Von Eerie. If you haven't heard or seen Christina Von Eerie before, then this is a perfect opportunity for you to get up to speed with who she is and what she's done in the business. She's worked for AAA quite a lot down in Mexico. She's worked a lot of independent shows, currently based out of Florida, but she is a West Coast girl by heart. And she's got a look that's very, very, very distinctive. And I've certainly, one of my friends recently commented that having seen Christina Von Eerie, if he'd been TNA, he would have signed her immediately just based on her look.
Well, wouldn't you?
Absolutely. So we're going to look forward to seeing Christina at Shimmer in, just over a week's time. Can't believe that's come around so fast.
Yeah, and we're not sure exactly what she's going to be doing there, who she's going to be against, what's going to happen with her. But she's one of those people who you just have to look at and you have an opinion.
Yep, and we're very, very pleased to have her on the show as well. So she's going to be coming up in the second part of the show. So stick with us now, and we'll be back in just a couple of moments with the first part of our two-part interview. This one's going to be Roxie Cotton. Okay, and we are back with the first of our two guests here this evening. The World 1 Tag Team Champion. He's going to be competing this weekend at March 20th at Jackson, New Jersey, the Pro Wrestling Sun Sunrise show. We're here with one half of Harajuku Masami, Roxie Cotton. Roxie, how are you?
Hi. How are you guys?
Oh, we're doing grand, thanks. How are you?
I'm good.
First off, just Roxie, we just wanted to offer our congratulations. I know it's a few weeks ago now, but we just wanted to offer our congratulations on you being one half of the World 1 Tag Team Champions, because it's quite an achievement for an all-female team to win what is a championship that's predominantly competed for by men.
Yeah, I'm like really excited. Like, me and Sumi are like so awesome, and she's an awesome tag partner, and it's like so much fun to work with her. And like to even get the chance to even compete for the belts was awesome, and the fact that we even won is even better. Like.
It was a funny turnaround between for your team to kind of come together, because weren't you guys you were opponents at the end of last year, and this was pretty much your first match as a team.
Yeah, and like because they brought her in, and she speaks so much English. She was there to wrestle, and she didn't like the guys that were teaming. She was teaming with that brought her in, and then. We were hanging out, and we got to talking, and, I've known her for so long, and we finally just like, what, we should team up and go for belts, who cares about all these stupid guys, and let's beat them up for a change.
That's pretty much the ethos of of our website as well, really, just about, women just showing they're as good / better than the guys that are out there.
Yeah.
Well, you've also had your own mark as far as your singles in World 1 as well, being the World 1 Women's Champion, which is that now, Stu, that's right, the Pro Wrestling Sun title?
That's the one, yeah.
Yeah, they just changed it. It's now the Pro Wrestling Sun title.
Pro Wrestling Sun seems to be one of these new promotions which is coming along, another place for women to be able to wrestle other women, and it being an all-women show. Tell us a bit about what you're hoping for Pro Wrestling Sun, because it sounds like you're going to be quite an important part of it.
Me and Sumi are going to be defending the World 1 tag belts on the show.
Indeed. It's just been announced that it's going to be against two people who you know quite well, Annie Social and Marty Bell.
Yeah, it's to be a really good show, and a bunch of girls kicking butt like they're supposed to, and because it was Pro Wrestling Sun was originally from Japan, and now they closed, and they have a name now over here, and they had great shows and great women matches, and I hope we can at least live up to that. That'd be awesome. The Japanese wrestlers are amazing.
Well, here's the thing. You're talking about these women being impressive and amazing, and I hear that the person that was most responsible for influencing you as a wrestler was actually Fabulous Moolah. Is that right?
Yeah, well, I always liked her and everything, and then I saw a documentary that she had a school, and then that was when I was just like, oh my god, I'm going to be a wrestler. I'm just going to go to the school, and I'm going to learn how to wrestle. Like, that's where it hit me. But I never found her school, because apparently it was, like, at her house or whatever, but I found other schools. But I used to watch it and do it all the time, and then I was just all of a sudden, like, she has a school, and I'm like, oh my god, there's schools for this. I'm just going to do it, and then that was kind of how it happened.
It's kind of funny, because you probably don't get a lot of girls these days who will actually point to Moolah specifically as being an influence. Was she the strongest sort of female figure that you can remember when you were growing up watching wrestling?
Well, like, I just watched it all the time, and I guess I just always watch the guys more because I'm a girl. Come on now, I'm going to watch sexy men in little trunks. But but I used to watch it when, like, Sable and Luna got into it, and like, that whole feud, and it was, like, there were some girls that just kind of rolled around, but then, like, I think I saw more wrestling out of them, and then there's Molly Holly and Ivory and then Lita, and then it's like, you got to watch some wrestling, and they were just as good as the guys, instead of just, like, chicks rolling around in bikinis. And then, like, going, and then it's almost like looking back at the ones that were, like, Moolah and this and that, is when I, like, got more respect for them, and because I never really saw them as much, because I was always, like, so little, kind of flipping between wrestling and cartoons. So, yeah, I think looking back now, I have more appreciation than when I was younger.
Sure. And so instead of finding Moolah School, you ended up finding Jersey All Pro. I
did. I found a couple schools online. I emailed a couple of them, Mike Sharp School, CZW, and Jersey All Pro. And Jersey All Pro was the only one that wrote me back. And I went, started going. I was still in high school at the time. I didn't have my license, so that was a trip, because I was in Philly at the time.
That's a bit of a trip.
Yeah, it was. People from Jersey had to come down and pick me up, and then we had to go back and then do the school, and I had to come back and go to high school the next day. But it was fun, and then, like, from there, I went to, like, a couple different schools. I went to the PW school and so forth.
Well, when it came to training like that, and you're saying that you're still in high school, it must have been quite a shock for a few of your friends when you told them what you were doing, or did you even tell them what you were doing?
Yeah, like, I think a lot of them were shocked to actually hear that somebody was doing, especially a girl. But then, like, the people that actually know me, they're like, oh, yeah, that makes sense. I don't know, I just feel like the one that's like, somebody threw me across the room. Because, like, I did theater arts in school, and I was like, I got, like, an award for the best stunt woman, like, so I think it was very, like, hey, let's get thrown around, I don't know.
You got an award for best stunt woman?
Yeah, I did.
At school?
Yeah, because I was
What sort of school did you
class.
Go to? Okay.
Well, I had a theater arts class, and so we all had got different awards for different things, and I got best stunt woman. So, and and it works out because I'm doing some independent films now, and I'm doing some horror movies, and I'm a superhero in a movie. So,
good Lord,
all that wrestling works out.
Let me ask you a question about your training. I heard a story, I read a story, and I don't know how true it is, so I'm just going to ask you, and that is that I heard that when you were wrestling that you actually got, or when you were trained to wrestle, you got motion sickness from all the running and the moving and the bumping, and that you had to take, and you had to take tablets to stop yourself puking?
I still have motion sickness. I get, because I had tubes in my ears when I was a kid, and so I get really sick really easily. And just even driving in a car for like down the street sometimes will get me. Like if I, look down or I read something or from some hills, I really get motion sickness. So I'm already car sick by the time I get to training. And then all the rolls and the flips and stuff, like I'd get sick and everyone's like, oh, you're just blown up and you're sick. Because people that are in shape and do it, I'm like, no, I'm just sick. And then finally, after, I don't know, 8 years in the business, someone's like, hey, why don't you use Dramamine in the motion sickness pill? And I'm like, oh my god, I'm an idiot. Why I never thought of that, I have no idea. But yeah, so if I know the training's going to be a lot of rolls and stuff, like at the Chikara school, because they do a lot of lucha, I got to make sure I take it. Otherwise, I'm like, oh, I'll just puke later.
So you went for the first 8 years pretty much wrestling on the verge of puking every single match?
Yeah. Still now, sometimes, I'm like, I gotta be careful.
See, that's hardcore.
Well, you say that's hardcore. Actually, hardcore is a good segue into something I wanted to ask you about, because you're known nowadays for this sort of fun-loving sort of valley girl character, but looking back at what you were doing a good few years ago now, you actually took part in one of the IWA Mid-South Queen of the Death Matches tournaments.
I did.
Now, it's not something that you've necessarily kept up with the whole deathmatch wrestling. So, I mean, what was your experiences of that night when Ian Rotten came to you and said, "Hey, Roxie, we want to put you in a deathmatch tournament"? What part of you said yes?
Well, as weird as it sounds, like I originally got into it to do hardcore because I love Mick Foley and Al Snow, and I was like, oh yeah, it looks so easy, especially the way they do it. And you get in there thinking that wrestling's fake, and it's really not. And then, like, after I think the very first day of training where you had to learn how to bump and realize how much everything hurts, and you're like, wow, maybe that hardcore really isn't for me. But as soon as I got the chance, I was like, wow, I've never done this before. I've always just wanted to, and it worked out. It was actually fun. I'd probably do it again.
You would probably do it again? Wow.
Yeah.
No, it's funny because I was watching again a bit of footage of this, and I mean, talk to me what you're thinking when you're sitting on a seat opposite Mickey Knuckles, and the two of you are proceeding to punch each other in the head with glass.
Very scary, and thinking, how am I not knocked out yet? I have no idea, but I'm gonna hit her back before she hits me again. And that's kind of what I'm thinking.
the whole thing is just, it's terrifying when guys do it, let alone girls. But some of that stuff is pretty amazing. I mean, I assume it takes a very special sort of person to do this on a regular basis. I mean, did Mickey Knuckles or Ian Rotten, did they ever come to you and sort of say, let's do this more often with you?
I think they asked me to do it the next year, and they thought I did very well. And I was gonna do it, but I was already booked somewhere else at the time, so I couldn't do it. But I guess I don't know. I liked it. It was alright, and as weird as I'm standing there, the funny thing is I'm standing there pulling thumbtacks out of my arm, and I'm like, oh my god, there's somebody coming at me. You get distracted, and you're you think you know the ring, you go hit the ropes, and you're like, oh my, you forget that there's barbed wire on the ropes, and you're like, I'm getting stuck to them, and this and that. It really throws off your wrestling, and it's neat, how you got to change up your whole style, and you don't even realize how much you have to change it up just for something. So I don't know.
No kidding.
Barbed wire or something.
Yeah, that's pretty amazing. Now, there's one specific thing that both Lee and I wanted to ask you about, and it's something that we talked to Lufisto on this show before, and we meant to ask her about it, but we actually forgot, and you are one of the only other people in the world that we can ask this question.
Seriously?
I mean, there was a competitor in one of the matches that you had, and it was in the three-way with yourself and Lufisto, and it was a woman called BB Walls.
Yeah.
Now, the simple question is, where did they find her, and did she know that this was not on the level? Because she... You know what?
I think there was other girls that were supposed to be on that show, and then some bowed last minute. Like Rebecca Payne. So, me and her were supposed to ride together. But, yeah, anyway, so, I think she was somebody's trainee at the time, and that might have been her first match. I think.
Hang on. She done training?
I don't know how far.
I'm not trying to be too judgmental, but I'm not sure she knew what was going on in the ring. Is what I'm saying.
I don't think so either, and I don't know how much she was trained at the time. But I think that was her first match. And it turns out we found out later that she was pregnant during that.
What?
A couple months pregnant. Yeah, she didn't know at the time. Obviously, we didn't know.
I don't know where to go with that.
I don't know.
This story becomes more and more amazing.
Yeah. I think, World was kind of, and then the last minute they ended up getting, that's why they ended up doing the round robin tournament, because some of the girls couldn't make it or something happened, and some people got thrown in and things got shifted, and so it ended up like this. And you know what? For not really having a match yet and being there and hey, I'll do crazy hardcore first. I give her props for that, but I don't know.
I mean, when you sat down before the match and you meet everybody and everything, what was going on? I mean, was it a case that she was just sort of looking around and trying to fit in, or did she really look like she was a fish out of water?
You know what? I think I was so nervous for myself that I wasn't really paying attention to anyone else, and I'm like,
makes sense.
Oh my god, I was I made it because I was Rebecca was supposed to come with me, and then last minute bowed. So I was like, crap, how am I going to get there? And I had to grab people to come drive that long drive with me, and then so I was so happy I was there, and then I was like, oh my god, I'm doing the hardcore, and everyone's like, and then we're trying to figure out what matches were what weapons were going to be in what match, and I'm sitting there I don't even know what I would take and what I wouldn't take because I don't know, and then Ian comes up okay, who wants to do the money thing where you staple the unlucky 13 or something where you staple the money onto somebody, and Lufisto's no, I don't want to do it because I got a staple in my arm and or my hand, and it got infected all the way up my arm, And he's like, okay. And he goes to me, he's like, do you want to do it? And I was like, no. He's like, why? I'm like, because of the fisto and the staple in her arm. And then it got infected. And I was like, I didn't know what to do, what not to do. I was like, I don't know. She says no, I'm going to say no. And I'm like, I'm just going to go with everybody else. Like, I was like mouse traps, and I was like, I don't know. And someone's like, thumbtacks. I'm like, that doesn't seem that bad. I guess I'll take that one. Like, and then like the barbed wire ladder match, and I was like, yeah. And we didn't even end up using it as much as I wanted to. I guess I kind of got nervous and forgot it was there, and I was like, I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing.
You said no to having staples, but you agreed to sit opposite Mickey Knuckles and punch each other in the head with broken glass.
Yeah, I don't know where my head was at the time. I don't know. I was nervous. I was like, hey, Mickey's gonna punch me in the face. I'll just agree to whatever she says so she doesn't punch me as hard as she could. I'm hoping she likes me and won't hear me sorry. I don't know. Like, I don't know what I was thinking. I was like, let's just, okay. And I think it was more like, oh, wow, I'm wrestling again. Like, oh, okay.
The funny thing was about that Queen of the Death matches is that you had all those matches which were really, really sort of graphically brutal, and then in the middle you did do a promo, and it's probably the promo that caught my attention about you more than, you know, punching each other in the head with glass, because I think it was maybe 30 seconds of just one word, there was no breaths involved in it, and that was the first Roxie Cotton promo I ever saw, and I was fascinated by it.
That's awesome. Thanks.
Yeah, it's just so unlike anything else. If you've not seen a Roxie Cotton promo, guys, I think there's a couple floating around on YouTube, but it's just unbelievable. Do you ever breathe? Can you circular breathe like these people who play instruments?
And the funny thing is, like, I just talk, and then, like, that's how I normally talk, like, when I really get into something, and I just start talking, like, really fast, and people don't understand what I'm saying. I'm like, I don't understand. Why don't you understand what I'm saying? Because I totally understand what I'm saying. And then, like, I just keep going and talking, like, really fast and everything, right? I think it's funny, but, like, I don't know, some people think it's funny than me. Some people don't think it's annoying or something, so I don't know, you know?
You're like the female Delirious. I think if you pick up one word out of every 5, you're doing quite well.
Thanks. Well, you know what, like, everyone always says, like, you need to be different, but at the same time, you need to be yourself. And I've wanted to do this. I actually was a different, you know, character. I was a different name before, and it didn't feel right. And then I kept saying I wanted to be, like, you know, do that 80s gimmick, and everyone's like, you know, no, I don't know how it'll work. And I'm like, you know what? I'm doing it. And then it worked, and it liked it. And then once people saw it, and they're like, oh my God, that totally works, and there's nothing out there like that. I'm like, see, sometimes, you know, you just gotta not listen to people and do your own thing, and it works out better. You know, I don't want to be the generic girl wrestler number 529. I want to be Roxie.
No, trust me, you're not that. But what was the origin of the 80s gimmick? I mean, what was going through your head when you wanted to do this?
I just always loved the 80s. I don't know. I just grew up in the 80s. I love the 80s, and I always talk fast. And then my sisters always used to make fun of me because I would always be like this, like. I'm like, I like this, like, you know. And I will eventually talk like that. Like, people will talk to me like, oh my God, that's like, that is you. That's not a character. That's you. And I'm like, I don't understand what you're saying. I'm talking. Like, they're like, yeah, you're definitely you. It's you. It's just me enhanced. Honestly. Anyway, it is me, and I'll just start laughing at my own jokes before I even like tell it, or my own stories, and then I just think it's hysterical. And then, like, even at my real job, like I'll talk to people, and I'll like go so fast, and they have no idea what I'm saying. They're just like, and they just smile and nod. They don't know what to do.
You can't see me now, but I'm smiling and nodding. Let's move on a little bit from the IWA Mid-South stuff, and let's talk a bit about WSU and NWS. You were there from pretty much right near the beginning of their women's division, and you're probably best known there for being one half of the Beat Down Betties with Annie Social, one of our former guests on the show, and she said she absolutely loved everything about you and working with you. I assume the feeling would be mutual.
Yeah, I love her to death. She's awesome, and like she's like one of my first friends like real friends outside of wrestling. They're girls anyway, outside of wrestling. And like she really is like one of my best friends, and I love her to death. But like we actually, like, people think we started to team up there, but we actually teamed up in like at PWU. Like we used to, you know, come out together and manage people, and we teamed up at like a couple different companies before that. And so when people keep thinking that we started there, like we did, and I think people just noticed us there.
Sure.
As a team.
The thing about it is, though, I mean, you and Annie seem to have on the face of it such different characters. You know, she's very, you know, sarcastic, and you're very upbeat, and you know.
Yeah.
But
kind of like hates the world, and I kind of just like I like everybody until they give me a reason not to.
Yeah.
Even then, I probably like them anyway. Like we are such polar opposites, and I think that's what's so funny about us. That's why we click, like opposites attract. And like she's just so funny. Like we go on road trips, and I think she's just hysterical. Like she hates everybody, and like, you know, everyone has a reason to be hated, and she hates them, and it's awesome when she starts going off on like nothingness, and it's like her little rants, and I am just cracking up hysterical, and I just can't stop laughing. I think she's so funny. I don't know, I love her. So plus if someone as mean and scary as antisocial, I'm really happy I'm her friend and not her enemy. Why she likes me, I still have no idea, but I'm not going to complain.
That sounds like a good thing.
Right?
As far as the Beat Down Betties is concerned, I mean, where did the name come from, first of all?
She came up with it, actually.
Sounds about right.
I think she already had this name in her head, but I'm not sure if it was meant for me and her, but it worked, and I don't know, I give all the credit to her on the name.
And I mean, if you guys are polar opposites as far as your personalities is concerned, then you added in as well Rick Cataldo as like a third wheel on the same team. What are your thoughts and opinions of Rick Cataldo as a third member of the team?
It was fun at first, you know. We're always like comparing clothes and trying to match and then not match and figure it out and get Annie to, you know, wear pink, and I think me and her clicked a lot better than those two, and then me and him, and I think it all just kind of, went away.
It's probably been a while since you guys have been together as a team. Is it? I mean, do you guys still team up or see each other in any sort of regular way?
Who, me and Rick?
You and Annie.
Me and Annie.
Yeah, you and Annie.
Me and Annie, we see each other a lot. You know, sometimes we're against each other, sometimes we team up, but, you know, we're best friends, but we have no problem kicking each other in the face when it's, you know, up for a belt or something. Like, we know, like, okay, well, when we're in the ring, we're in the ring. When we're out of the ring, we're friends again, but sometimes you gotta kick your friend in the face, don't you? And she has done it to me lots of times.
Sometimes you gotta kick your friend in the face. Yeah, if you learn nothing else from this podcast, that's an interesting motto to live by.
No, we're not stabbing each other in the back like those girls. We know what's coming. I'm gonna kick you in your face, and you're gonna kick me in my face, and you know what I mean? We see it coming. We're not sneaking, go behind their back, and
that sounds like a guy friendship.
What? Yeah, we are guys. I think that's why we get along so well, because we don't really like other girls or not like other girls. So. Let
me ask you about one other tag team, actually. Now, you just talked about Annie Social, one of your opponents at Pro Wrestling Sun this weekend, and the tag team in the Beat Down Betties. Your other opponent this weekend, Marty Bell, you've also been in a tag team with her, and it's another tag team that's got a fantastic name. Big fan of this one as well. And you guys teamed up together in Dangerous Women of Wrestling as the Punky Bruisers. Who came up with the Punky Bruisers name?
I kind of had the idea of, like, Punky Brewster, because we would get the chance, and then I swear, like, Marty Bell is so like me, in the same way. We're so like each other. And then, Corey Castle actually said, like, Punky Bruisers, like, it makes, like, you know, I'm like, oh my god, that makes perfect sense. And I was like, okay, there it is, Punky Brewster, like Punky Bruisers, it works out. And she liked it, I liked it. I think it fits us, so.
Are you guys still the official Dangerous Women Wrestling Tag Team Champions?
Yes, we are. We are the official Dangerous Women Wrestling Tag Team Champs, but the funny thing is about it is that when we won the titles, they didn't actually have them. I think the Mays had them, we won them off them, and they didn't bring them with them, so then technically, like, we're the champs, but we've never actually had a belt in our hand.
Oh.
So, there's no pictures of us with the belts. We never had it in our hands, so that sucks. But technically, we're the champs.
So somebody else I want to ask you about, actually, because it kind of become a bit of a theme about how you're either like or completely different to some of the people you've worked with. Somebody up in Canada that I know you've worked with at least once was Mary Lee Rose. You worked with her at a Femme Fatale show. She's somebody that to me looks like somebody who's sort of cut out to be in a tag team with you.
Yeah, like, when I first went up there, we had, like, a four-way situation, and then, like, me and her were kind of teaming up a little, but then, something happened, and then I got eliminated, and it goes her fault, so I kind of didn't like her for that, and then the next time, she ended up teaming up with someone else against me, and I forget their name. I'm really bad at this. I get off in my head a lot.
That's all right. Don't worry about it. But I mean, as far as Femme Fatale goes, you've been up there a couple of times. What do you make of them as a promotion, as somewhere for the women to work?
For the Femme Fatales, I think it's awesome company. It's so much fun up there. I love going up there. And like, all the girls try really hard, and they all bring something different, and it's really neat. Like, to see everyone trying, and they're just having fun. There's no, stupid cattiness yet, because they're girls, I don't know, but everyone's just so excited to learn, and everyone's just so happy they're on the show, and it's just so much fun to be up there with everybody.
We had Sassy Steffi on the show a few shows ago, and she told a story about you guys and your road trip up to Femme Fatale. Where
this sounds like there's going to be a story out of this.
Well, you managed to cross the border like 3 times.
Oh my God!
Whose fault was this? Yours or hers?
Literally, in the world of Roxie time, things like this happen. So, yeah, we crossed the border, and then we're like, okay, there's that duty free thing where you can go like and shop for souvenirs or something. Apparently, there's one on the American side, or like the state side, and we didn't see it going in. We saw nothing but trees, and we didn't see this. Okay, so we went through the border. They finally got us. Then we go through, like, oh, there's the duty-free thing. Let's go. And I want to get something for my mom. I just want to go look around. I have to get Sumi some maple syrup. Like, let's go in there. And then we're like, this is weird how, like, we didn't even realize this is awkward to get in here. And then, so we park, and we're going around, and then they wouldn't let us buy anything because we were going into Canada and not coming out of Canada. So, like, this makes no sense, whatever. Like, you were supposed to buy it on the other side. Like, we didn't even see anything. So then we had to get out. Of course, it's only, like, a one-way road where it goes out to the freaking, goes out to the States. And we're like, oh, my God. So we had to, like, turn around. And so we ended up going across the border again. And we had to go back to customs again. And they were like, hey, I was just here, like, 2 minutes ago. And they were like, okay. I'm like, yeah, we had to do the loop around. I don't know. Oh, we didn't see that. Like, look at us, like, we're retarded. Like,
so does that mean then?
Like,
does that mean then that you've got does that mean you've got 2 Canadian stamps in your passport from the same day?
Like, within the hour, like, we went to the bathroom, and then picked something out, and like, no, you can't do it, you have to leave, and we had to, like, go, and they're like, we have to turn around, like, yeah, you gotta do the U-turn right there. So we had to go through customs again, and they're looking at us like, I'm like, yeah, I don't know, like, I don't know.
You could be the only humans in the world who have ever done that.
Like, if you have, probably, because, it's me, and I'm a dick. But yeah, if you've ever been in the car with me at all, and I do so many random U-turns in places I shouldn't, and I think that's probably the best story of a U-turn.
Loving it.
I don't What? Only I can cross the border twice within the hour.
Indeed so. Here's a question.
That was awesome. I led road tripping with Apache staff. She's awesome, and we both obsessed over Tyler Black because he's gorgeous.
I was gonna say there's a video online.
Oh, we all saw that video.
Yeah. One of her stepping out with Stephanie videos when she was trying to explain about how this is the Welcome to Canada sign, and all you could do was essentially just talk about how much you wanted to touch him.
Yeah, I do. Have you ever seen him? You just want to touch his body? Like, come on, I know you do. Don't lie. It's almost like, is it real? And you just want to touch him a little.
Is it real?
Or a lot. You might want to do a little. I want to touch him a lot. Like,
fair enough.
And it's not really, alright, maybe it is a little pervy, but I'm not trying to, sound slutty or sleep with him. I just want to touch his body, touch his back. Oh, because he's got that nice dent in the middle of his back, and then all the muscles go around it, and then he's got a really nice butt, and then his face is nice too. But you just want to touch him, and then you just want to molest him a little. I don't know how. I think everybody does. If he's like, oh my gosh, I need help with baby oil, I'm gonna be like, I'll help you. And it won't even be a show. I'll just randomly be there, I'm ready with the baby oil. Just wipe it all over your body. That's awesome.
Somewhere Tyler Black is slightly terrified and slightly excited.
Right? I'm like, hi, you don't know me, but I will totally help you rub whatever you want all over your body.
Wow.
To touch him. He's nice. So is Adam Cole. His body's nice. He's got a gorgeous face. So is Chris Rockwell. Oh, I like to touch him. I make him so uncomfortable. It's awesome.
We're going into completely unheard of territory on this podcast right now, so.
Yeah, it's probably not a good thing. I'm not a slutty person, but I'm a very perverted person, and there's a lot of sexy men in this business, and they're not wearing much, and they're all wet and oiled up, and and then they get into these kinky positions. Come on now. You watch girls wrestle around, and you don't get excited, okay? You're lying. And you don't think that girls don't get excited watching two sexy men roll around and getting at kinky positions, you're crazy, because that gets me excited. And should probably just shut up now, because
well, before you
dig myself in a hole.
Before you dig yourself any further, I'm gonna throw you a line by way of questioning, and that's something that I know you've done at least once. And I don't know how serious you are at doing it, but there is YouTube footage online of you attempting comedy, attempting a bit of stand-up, an open mic night. Talk to me how that came about, and is this something that you're looking into as a potential other option in your career?
I really am. Corey Castle always wanted to do stand-up, and I always loved comedy, always watched it, always had it on, but I never even thought twice about it. And then he was doing it, and he was trying it out, and he was doing it really good, and everyone keeps telling me that I'm funny, and so I tried it, and I think the first time it was an open mic, and then it was if you weren't on the show, you had to pay, and I didn't want to pay because it was cheap. And I was like, you know what, let me go up there and try. And I was like, what about, I'm like, all right, I got an idea. And I'll just be Roxie Cotton up there. And then apparently, everybody thought it was funny, and they all liked it. They don't know me as a wrestler. They just know me as, hey, there's that girl that's on stage on it. And then, so I tried it, and it was a lot of fun, and, I don't think that I'm funny, but, other people thought I did, so now I'm the more, he got into it, the more I got into it, and the more, I'm really trying to do it now. I got my friend Noah Houlihan, who's, he does ring announcing, and he's a referee, and he's a comedian, and he's been doing it for 5 years, and he's hysterical. He's been doing the Borgata and this and that, and, I go to him, he's my funny guy. And every time I have a joke, I go through him if it's funny or not. And I'm actually trying hard now, to actually make the jokes and make it funny, not just go up there and wing it. So yeah, I know everyone's like, oh, Cole Cabana started that. He's doing it. I'm like, I really didn't know he did that until after I already started. And then I was actually got Steve Carino into it. Me and him did a road trip, and then someone asked him, and I was like, oh my God, you're funny. Just tell your stories. You should go up there and do comedy. So now me and him get together a lot, and we try to, do jokes and everything, and, we're both trying to do stand-up, so it's fun. And he's got his own little thing with Rapid Dimension. They're trying their little Extreme Odd Couple. They got their little funny sketches, so it's neat that I think a lot of wrestlers are getting into it now. I think it's the
true.
same thing as wrestling. It's just not as painful.
Yeah, isn't Nigel McGuinness also doing stand-up these days?
Yeah, he is. He's doing stand-up.
Is he?
Yeah, down in Florida whilst he's waiting for TNA to think of something to do with him.
I think Mick Foley's doing some as well.
Mick Foley's done some. Roddy Piper's done some. There's quite a lot of wrestlers seem to see comedy. I don't know if it's something to do with the with sort of entertainment aspect of wrestling and going out in front of a live crowd and feeding off their live crowd that helps you in comedy. I mean, is that anything that you find?
Yeah, like it's neat, and it's just like it's just weird. It's just like trying to say promos up there is kind of what it is on stage, and but like instead of like getting them to hate you, you just want them to laugh at your joke, and I don't know, I think it's really neat how, and then everyone's getting into it, but it's just so much fun up there. And then even when I'm like, I don't know, and then sometimes it's really hard to read the audience, especially if the lights are low or something, and I'm so used to seeing the crowd, and sometimes when lights are low, like, oh my god, am I funny? Are they laughing? I can't tell because you're so into your next joke. And you're like, it gets you that rush again. You're like, oh my god, how you doing? Did I do good? I don't know. You gotta like, it's one of those things you gotta get it recorded and like watch it back, and you're like, oh, okay. So like you're on the spot. At least like in wrestling, you're like, oh, I fucked up. Let me punch somebody in the face, and then you get the crowd back, or or something. And then if you go up there and you fuck up, you're like, and you have to have that go-to joke, and you're like, I don't have that one yet, so it's neat trying to like figure it out.
You could try and punch someone in the face.
I'm thinking about it. Maybe I'll just throw a chair at somebody, but
Just have a plant in the audience. It'll be fine.
Right? Be like, when I come up here, let me punch you in the face.
Oh, I've got an idea. Bring back BB Walls and have her sit in the audience. Then when
oh my god, right?
just punch her in the face. She won't know what's going on. It'll be great.
I won't even have to do stand up. I can be like one of those prop stand ups, and then just show a video. And I'm like, there's this girl who's ready to laugh, and then just push play, and then there we go.
Awesome. All right. Well, as far as the comedy is concerned, I mean, I'm happy to see that you've got this other option as well that you're enjoying. And let's get back to the day job quickly, and we'll finish up just with a final plug then for Pro Wrestling Sun. It's going to be March 20th this weekend in Jackson, New Jersey, at the Knights of Columbus. On the show, apart from yourself, you got Alice in Danger versus Madison Eagles. You got the battle.
Yeah, that's going to be an awesome match, I think.
You got the Battle of the Mias between Mia Svensson and Mia Yim.
Battle of the Mias.
And you've also got Mercedes Martinez, Sarah Del Rey, and Kelly Skater on all there as well. So you can make your way up. It's an afternoon show as well, because there's an evening World 1 show, isn't that right?
Yeah. I think if you buy tickets to both, it's like $22 for like the combination of both shows. And that's a really good price these days for two shows, and like considered in some places like Shimmer that are like $90 for like a show, which is ridiculous. You get two shows out of this, and there's going to be so much good quality wrestling and good entertainment, and there's a lot of good wrestlers on the show, both shows, and I think everyone's going to get a lot more than their money's worth. It's going to be awesome. You should totally go. Be there. It'll be fun. And if you can't go, you should buy a DVD. We should go anyway, and then buy a DVD, because it'd be that awesome. You're like, oh my god, I'm going to need that one DVD. And then buy my t-shirt while you're there.
There you go.
You can also buy my t-shirt at RoxieCotton.com. Well, you have to spell it right.
Nice plug. Okay, so Roxie, again, thank you very much. We will be back with you in just a moment, dear listeners. But Roxie, thank you one more time, and good luck this weekend at Pro Wrestling Sun.
Thank you.
Welcome back on the Women of Wrestling podcast. We're very pleased and honoured to have as our guest this time former AAA competitor and independent wrestler who's going to be making her Shimmer debut coming up later this month. We have Christina Von Eerie.
Hello, how's it going?
Very good, all the better for hearing you. Well, Christina, the first thing I want to ask you, and it seems like the obvious thing to start, or the obvious way to start, and that is that every wrestler wants people to go away with an impression of them when they see them for the first time. Everybody wants to leave people with a good memory, and as far as you're concerned, your look is phenomenal as far as giving somebody something to remember.
Thank you.
You've got one of the most unique looks in wrestling, as far as I can see, and I just wanted to ask you about that. I mean, this is obviously something where it's basically just you. Am I right in saying?
Yeah, yeah, it is. I didn't like looking at a magazine and see someone and go, I want to look like that person now. I've always kind of dressed like I dress, like in the ring pretty much. Like I have punk patches and cut up shirts and stuff that I wear out in public. So it's definitely me.
You basically just had this love of punk music from what, childhood, I guess, or when did you get into punk as a scene?
Well, Sacramento, where I'm from, they have a really strong like punk rock community. That's like there's been local bands that have been playing for years and years in that scene, and I actually started wrestling because I met the drummer of this band called the Secretions, and they're one of my favorite bands and friends for a really long time. He was training, he was helping train at a school called SPW, and that's where I started. And I met him at a punk show. And I've just been going to shows since I was like 12, maybe 13. But yeah, just local shows and local bands and stuff. So I've been listening to punk for a while.
So with the look that you got, I read that you first started getting your tattoos, was it late teens, like 17, 18, was it around that?
Yeah, well, I got my first tattoo the day before I turned 18. So I don't know if you want to say I was 17 or 18, but yeah, as soon as I could get them, I got them, and I would have more if I weren't so broke.
What was your first tattoo?
My first tattoo is Elvis on a cross. He's crucified, and he's dead and sat like Las Vegas Elvis. It's a tribute to the Cramps. They have a song, can I cuss? Is that okay?
Absolutely.
Bad words? Okay. They have a song called Elvis fucking Christ, and I knew that that's what I wanted to get for my first tattoo. So, but you should check that song out, Elvis fucking Christ by the Cramps.
You're never going to forget a title like that one either.
Oh, yeah.
I love the fact, and plus, quite frankly, I'd be disappointed if you didn't swear on the show. So.
Okay.
No,
I try not to, because not everyone's too keen on that. So.
Nah, it's all right.
But cool.
We're fine with that.
I'll say shit, fuck, ass, twat. Okay.
This woman's amazing.
As far as wrestling's concerned now, I mean, you got into it via the punk thing because you met that guy he's training at Supreme Pro Wrestling Academy.
Yeah, his name's Danny Secretion.
Great name. But as far as wrestling's concerned, am I right in thinking that it's not a case where you were a fan growing up of wrestling? What happened to get you involved in wrestling?
Well, like, I watched it a little bit when I was growing up, but, like, I never thought that I would be wrestling, today. But Danny, the drummer of that band, he invited me to a local indie show, in Sacramento, Supreme Pro Wrestling, and, I went to the show, I met the only girl that was on the show. Her name was Kathy Summers. I met her mom, and her mom was like, there's no girls for Kathy to wrestle. And she's like, maybe you could go wrestle. I'm like, I don't know how to wrestle. She's like, just try it. And so I talked to them, and of course they had a school, so I started training there, and that's how I started. It was just watching, indie shows, independent wrestling shows.
that's a little bit different to what we normally hear, because normally we hear people say, "Oh, I grew up watching the WWF or watching WCW, and these are the guys I was watching on TV." But with you, it's different. It sounds like you got your first real experience from wrestling actually being there.
Yeah, and that it was actually harder to learn just because I didn't grow up watching wrestling, and most people, like, when they start training, they go, okay, well, I know this move because Hulk Hogan does it, and I know this move because Randy Orton does it, John Cena does this move. Where when I started, I didn't know anything at all. It was like learning a new language. So it took me a little while to pick up stuff, and I'm always learning new shit. Like, there's always room to learn. So I don't even know probably half the things that I need to know right now. But, like, I kind of wish a little bit that I would have watched more, just so I would have learned faster. But that's not what happens. So take what you get and roll with it.
Full credit to you for sticking at it, especially for, as you said, something that you weren't necessarily in love with at the start. Was there a moment that you can look at, or a moment that you can point at, where it switched in your brain and you were like, okay, I get this now?
That's a good question. When I was in Nortown, Sacramento, I was wrestling lots of guys because there's no girls, and by the time I actually started getting out and wrestling, Cassie, the girl who I met originally at that first show that I went to, she wasn't really that active as much anymore, and so I didn't have any girls to wrestle.
Well, you should have worked with her mom.
I should have.
Yeah.
Well, I went down to Los Angeles, and I met tons of girls, and I just started working more with girls. So it was easier to wrestle like a good competitive match with a girl, because, I mean, a guy punches me in the face, that's going to hurt,
Yeah.
So, I just, I think it was when I started working down there. It's all about practice, though, like repetition and learning, things. And I never could pinpoint exactly where it clicked, but...
You do bring up an interesting point, though, just about, because we hear a lot about women's wrestling on the East Coast and in the Midwest. There's lots of promotions like that we could easily point at, like WSU, like Shimmer, and so many other promotions that have been around as well. Like there was the Triple W division in NECW. They're all very sort of tightly packed around that East Coast and Midwest area. We never hear so much about women's wrestling on the West Coast. Well, what's it like out there? I mean, you said that it was quite barren to start off with where you were, and then you moved and it was better. But give us a feel about what it's like being a female wrestler on the West Coast.
Yeah, well, like I said, there's not that many girls. There's really not. So usually you'll get stuck like being a manager or wrestling a guy, which there's not a lot of guys that like to wrestle girls, and so that gets kind of hard, or you're just not on the show. So it's hard to get bookings being a girl over there just because there's not that many girls to work. But that's just in Northern California. In SoCal, it's nicer. There's lots of girls. I wrestle Candice LeRae at AWS, PWG, and even this promotion AWS, they even have like women's shows, like tournaments. So they bring in like all the girls that they can find pretty much, and then they have like a big tournament. So down there is really easy to meet chicks to wrestle and stuff. But it's all indies, and like it's hard to make money doing independent shows.
Yeah, no kidding.
So.
As far as the girls then on the SoCal scene or whatever, apart from Candice LeRae, were there any of the other ones that you particularly liked working with? Or some people that really helped you get established?
Yeah, I really enjoyed working with Candace, of course. Sarah Del Rey was very, very nice. She's awesome. She was a pleasure to work with. My tag team partner, Buggy, she just recently, she's getting more notice now. Like, she just started actually working matches and stuff. I think it was about a year, maybe a year and a half ago. I've never wrestled her, but I teamed with her, and she's pretty awesome.
I'm pretty sure her first match was a tag team match with you, wasn't it?
Yes, her first match was me and Buggy versus the Ballard brothers.
Okay, and how was
the Ballard brothers?
The Ballards are cool. I like them. They actually trained Buggy. And I think she trained a few other places, but I know that they're few of her main trainers.
Wow, now that's a blast from the past. I haven't heard that name in a little while.
Yeah, the Ballard brothers. Yeah, those guys are awesome.
Well, Buggies are now wrestling in Wild, and I know that you've had your little stint in Wild as well. It must be quite good to be seeing more sort of promoters out there who are looking forward, women's wrestling promotions and looking to highlight what women can do.
Yeah, I'll be going back to Wild hopefully soon. I'm not exactly sure when, but I did have a word with them a couple weeks ago, and I'll be going back there as soon as I can.
It's nice as far as Wild is concerned, though, from what we've been reading about and finding out about Wild ourselves, that there is somebody out there who's trying to get the girls in that area together and kind of get some sort of cogent division together. Is that really what the West Coast needed to try and get things all better for the ladies?
I think so. I think that we definitely need an all-female promotion in California. Definitely. Because, I don't know, it's hard to find girls, like I said, and if we can get a show that's all girls, of course it's going to draw because it's the only one there, So I think it's great. I think it's awesome.
I just always find it weird that some audiences can't get their heads around women wrestling. They think, this is weird, this is strange. It's like, dude, it's just exactly the same, only it's women.
Yeah, well, not everyone is a women's wrestling fan, and I definitely know lots of people that think that women's wrestling sucks. And, you can't please everybody. But all I can do is try my hardest to change their minds, just be as good as I can be and get better, so can change their minds. But not everyone's going to like what we do, and that's okay. I'm cool with that.
That's kind of the punk attitude, isn't it? If you like us, great. If you don't, well, doesn't matter. There's plenty of people who do.
That's just how I feel, though.
Yeah, that's cool. I mean, as far as your biggest break to date is concerned, you probably have to say it'd be AAA, wouldn't you?
Yeah. I definitely got some good exposure at PWG, and that was really fun. And I know they put out DVDs and stuff, and so that was great. The way people all the way over here in Florida, where I'm at right now, recognize me from PWG because of DVDs. Uh-huh. But AAA definitely was, I think, the biggest that I've ever wrestled for. It definitely is. There's thousands and thousands of people at every show, and it was huge. It was on TV. I was in magazines and stuff, which is crazy. Like, I never thought I would be in magazines or on posters, on billboards and stuff. I was like, whoa, this is cool.
How did you get into AAA? I mean, who's responsible for getting that deal together?
Well, a friend of mine, Kevin Kleinrock, he told me about the tryout that was going on in Los Angeles for AAA. Okay. And not that many people knew about the tryout. It was pretty, invite only until the very last second, where they said, okay, well, now now you guys can come try out. Anyone can come. It was very last second, though. But I went to that tryout and just did my thing, and I met Conan, and he brought me in to AAA in Mexico, because that tryout was actually for the American promotion that they're about to start up, about to bring AAA to America, and that's what the tryout was for. But Conan actually brought me into Mexico from that, so kind of getting a double prize with that, I guess. I get to go to Mexico and work for AAA here in America.
Well, as far as going to Mexico is concerned, we always hear people talk about the changing culture and the lifestyle and what it's like to try and get yourself acclimatized down there. I mean, you're still pretty young. I mean, you're 21, but what was it like to be able to go down there and immerse yourself in that culture? Was it a case of you found it a bit difficult, or did you just sort of blast in there with an open mind?
It was really crazy. Like, when I first got down there, it was like kind of a mind fuck because it was so different. Just everything was really different, and I was like, oh man, how am I going to acclimate? But things got a little bit easier. It's a crazy culture, like definitely different from America. Like everything from getting around, like it's like New York City with taxis. Like there's taxis everywhere. The people there are different too, like as far as like people come up to your car and try to sell you fruit and gum, you know. And I've never had that happen before, so I was like, you're selling me fruit that I'm in the car. Why? But that's just all part of their culture. But I mean, there's some cool stuff. Like you'll be driving around, you'll see people like doing like some kind of show or something, just to try to make some money, you know, because it's a poor community, you know, it's a poor, especially Mexico City. And so you'll see people, like, dressing up like clowns and, like, trying to be funny and stuff and get people to give them money like that, or, like, flame throwing. I saw some flame throwing.
Wow.
When I was driving down the street. I was like, oh, that's cool. But,
that's something good to do next to cars with petrol.
Yeah, and that's all, like, cultural stuff. But as far as, like, the language barrier was a little difficult for me, but I tried. I tried to learn like as much Spanish as I could, and I know how to get home.
That always helps.
It's the most important bit, yeah.
But I had to learn new like style, you know, and I'd never really wrestled lucha before, and so I had to train and pick up some stuff down there and learn how to wrestle.
That's what I wanted to ask you about, yeah, because lucha, they work on the different side of the body for a start, and a lot more of their wrestling involves rolling rather than bumping and stuff like that. I mean, how difficult was that, and who was, you know, how did you get around that? Obviously, you had some people around you who spoke English, but did the Apaches, for example, do they speak English?
They don't speak that much English. And actually, like, I went and I trained with Grand Apache when I was down there, and his training school is insane. Like, there's 3 different days, and the first day you do, like, this crazy, crazy cardio routine. Second day, you work on your rolls and stuff. And the third day, you're doing, like, and this is this is repetition, right? So the third day, you're doing, like, swantons off the top turnbuckle onto the floor, and moonsaults off the second rope onto the floor, standing moonsaults, like jumping from the middle rope to the top rope and doing some crazy stuff. Topes, like they work on all those crazy things, and I'd never done that in practice. I mean, I would pick a move and be like, okay, well, let's work on, like, the swanton,
Yeah.
And we work on that. But they work on that all the time. So all of them know how to do those things. So I thought that was crazy. But
I'm just thinking with your hairstyle, if you did a swanton, you could cut a man in half.
I would hope. That would be sweet. I'd use that as my finisher.
I like that. That's a good idea. As far as when you came in and you joined the Legion Extranjera, the Foreign Legion, and you teamed pretty much with Sexy Star and Rain and Jennifer Blake as well as Gringas Locas. Presumably they were all very helpful in acclimatizing you to the new surroundings and the new styles.
Yeah, they were. And I teamed with Alex Koslaw, like here and there, and he was really helpful too, because he also spoke English, and like he speaks really fluent Spanish too, and so he was really helpful, and especially with him being my tag partner, he'd be able to be, tell me, what they're saying, since I have no idea. Like I would sit there and try to figure out what they mean, and it's like, I should just learn Spanish. That's what I should do. I should just suck it up and learn some Spanish.
I was actually going to go on and talk to you about Alex Kozlov, actually, because you two kind of had your little storyline going there. Probably this was, I guess, through the summer of 2009, I think, with you and he winning the AAA mixed tag titles as well.
Yeah.
And there was this sort of storyline going on where he was madly in love with you and you didn't quite reciprocate the same feelings.
Yeah.
he ended up getting signed up to WWE. I mean, did that? Yep. I know you ended up dropping the titles off to Fabi Apache and Pimpinella Escarlata, but did that storyline ever really get concluded?
Yeah, I don't really think so. Like we didn't really have a chance to do anything because he had to go to Florida, and go to the school and stuff. We did what we could with it. At the end, we had our last match and we dropped our titles. And I was kind of like, well, now I don't have to talk to you anymore, because you're not my tag partner anymore, so you suck.
Oh, that's a burn.
That is cold. Oh, man.
Yeah, Alex is cool. He's my friend.
As far as wrestling against the Apaches is concerned, we're talking here about Fabi Apache and Mari Apache specifically, because they were, I would say, probably be your most regular opponents. Would that be right?
Yeah, I wrestled them a lot. It was usually me and Jennifer Blake against them.
I get the impression that they wrestle really, really hard.
Yep,
I mean,
they do.
I just wanted to ask you. I mean, are they as hard as they look when they're in the ring? Well,
yeah, of course. I mean, they trained, in Japan and stuff, and they definitely deliver. Yeah, they're hard hitting girls, but you just got to give it right back,
I was going to say you trained in Supreme School, so I'm pretty sure you can give it back if you need to, right?
That's right. Hit for hit, for sure.
You haven't been back in AAA for a little while, have you? What's your current situation with AAA? Are you still on their radar?
Well, I decided to move to Florida. I'm here with my boyfriend Jesse and Jesse Neal. He's TNA right now, and we're just hanging, chilling. I've been working on trying to get a spot with TNA, and we'll see how that goes. But I just wanted to relocate and start over and work my way over here so I could get more recognition on this side, because I've got, I've been working in the West Coast forever now, and I just want to expand. And I still go to the West Coast and stuff, but I just wanted to come here and expand, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Well, you mentioned TNA, so we can kind of go down that route. I mean, you had a tryout with them last year. What was that like?
That was good. I know there's probably some things that I could improve on, and that's probably why I didn't get signed. But I'm just working on that right now, just working hard, trying to get, in as best shape as I can and be as good as I can so I can get another shot and see how it goes.
As far as Florida's concerned, then what is there for you down there as far as groups to work for? Have you sourced out much in the way of promotions down there to work for?
Well, I've been working a lot for Lexi Spice doing customs, and I've just been working for, there's ASW. I actually just worked Tracy Brooks. I wrestled her, it was like 2 days ago at ASW. And then there's some other promotions at Vintage and USCW. Those are the other two that I've been working for. But I've just been, like, I'm looking forward to Shimmer and trying to see if there's some work in New York. And also, I know there's a few other promotions in Chicago that I'd like to contact and start working out there.
As far as Shimmer's concerned, then, I mean, that's coming up later this month, and it's something that I mean, is this something you see as a really big sort of opportunity now to get your name out there on a bigger scale and hopefully secure yourself some further bookings from that?
Definitely, yeah. I definitely, I'm very excited about going up there and working for Shimmer. I obviously never been, but yeah, I do see this as a very big deal, big opportunity, and because the best girls are there.
Who would you like to wrestle? I mean, if you were the booker for a moment and you could just put a match together that you wanted to have, who would you most like to wrestle?
Well, I've always loved Sarah Del Rey, and I wrestled her once, and so I'd always love to wrestle her again. I have so many girls that I would like to work. Mischief, I think, is amazing. Melissa, cheerleader Melissa, is always really great to work with. Leva is really, really fun to work with, too. But I don't know that many of the girls, and because, like I said, I don't see that many faces in when I was living on the West Coast, because there weren't that many. But yeah, I'm really open. I like working everybody. I like wrestling everybody, and
I was going to say, it sounds like you've got quite a good opportunity, not just to get your profile out there to a whole new bunch of fans and to a new promotion, but also to network with a lot of the girls in the back.
Yeah, that would be good too. Yeah, of course, networking is definitely a big part of of wrestling. It is.
It's also nice as well, especially for the girls, because I've seen this even in Britain as well, is that, you know, sometimes they can be so split up that when they actually get to meet other girls of a similar bent to them, you know, they can really sort of hit it off and strike up some pretty good friendships out of that. So, yeah, well, hopefully all that works out really well for you. And we will be there as well, front row, so that'll be fun.
Oh, will you? That's great. It'll be nice to meet you then.
Yeah.
Yeah, so. we're the quiet, shy, retiring ones.
Yeah. Right. He's lying.
Yeah.
No.
Before we finish though, there was something that we did want to ask you about, which is just more based around like how we started with your punk look and your punk life. Is you've been a member of 2 punk rock bands.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which, quite frankly, we couldn't do this interview without asking about this, because when we found out the names of these bands, it was amazing. It was like the best moments of the day.
Yeah. Now, one of the bands, and you know, again, you can jump in whenever you like, but one of the bands was called The Lurking Terror, which is fantastic. Yeah. But even better than that is a music band called, ladies and gentlemen, I shit you not, Puke and Spit.
Yeah.
Tell us about
best name.
Tell us about Puke and Spit and The Lurking Terror. I mean, you play what, bass? Is that right?
Yeah, I play bass and guitar, and I also sing backup vocals. And sometimes I'll sing like lead vocals for doing Misfits covers. In Puke and Spit, I started with them first, and I played rhythm guitar and sang backup, and we just sing about, you know, raunchy, scummy shit. Like, we had a song called Sweaty Nun.
Sweaty Nun.
Yeah.
Can we find any of this music? Can we have a listen to Puke and Spit?
You can find it on MySpace. It's been a while. I haven't been with Puke and Spit or the Lurking Terror for, I'd say at least about a year now. But it was definitely fun. I love playing live music, and I love doing shows and seeing all the kids, like, kill each other in front of me. You know, so that was fun. With the Lurking Terror, that was, like, I had tons of fun with that band. We dressed up like zombies or just, like, Halloween costumes. Like, our drummer dressed up like a zombie wrestler. He wore a fake like world heavyweight champion belt and wrestling boots when he drummed, and like had zombie makeup, and we'd always cover ourselves in blood and throw candy at the crowd because we were like horror based, you know. Yeah. Like we called it horror punk just because we're like kind of Halloween themed, and we played lots of Misfits covers, and I sang a few of those, but for the most part I was just backup. But that band was always fun. It was fun throwing candy at people. It really could have been anything I was throwing, though.
Sure, yeah.
I think I'd be happy throwing anything.
Right, that's it. At the Shimmer After Party, I'm going to make a request for you to do an a cappella version of Last Caress.
Oh, God. Maybe.
Well, there you go.
For a fee, no. I'll think about it.
If you need any other reason to go to the Shimmer After Party, ladies and gentlemen, there's your reason. Just before we go then, I mean, obviously, I can just tell from the way you're talking about it, you had a lot of fun in these bands. I mean, compare being in a band to being in a wrestling ring as far as entertainment's concerned. I mean, what do you love more? Could you even choose?
I definitely have put more work and time and effort into wrestling. So, like, I don't know, like, I can't really pick. But as far as comparing them, it's almost the same, because if you suck in the ring, no one's going to like you. And if you suck on stage, no one's going to like you. You know, so you really have to always be at the top of your game, no matter what you're doing, wrestling or playing music. And you have to be creative with both, because no one wants to see the same match. No one wants to hear the same, you know, rhythm of the song. So I definitely see them very similar. And they're both fun, and you can offend people doing both things. So it works for me.
Beautiful. I love the fact that you guys obviously took a lot of care in the visual product as well, as far as getting your characters together, which is great. I really appreciate that. Lee, anything further you want to add?
I think that's everything that we wanted to ask from Christina, but I'm looking forward to the possibility of having candy thrown at us at Shimmer.
Maybe. I'll try to remember to bring some little gummy eyeballs or something.
This is fantastic.
Be there, ladies and gentlemen. Berwyn Eagles Club, you know you want to. Christina, it's been a pleasure. I'm really looking forward to seeing you live very, very soon, and hopefully that goes for a